Hey, this is Bryce Harper, and welcome to the Philly Show.
Hey, everybody. Ruben Amaro Jr., Jim Salisbury, Todd Zwolecki. It's the Philly Show. It's Thursday, May 8th, 2025. Guys, so good to see you this morning.
Oh, wow. You look so fresh and lovely. Look at you, man. You're fresh as a daisy.
Look at me right now. I'm just crushing.
You're a hardworking man,
this
Todd. You're a hardworking man. Hey, can we get a GoFundMe page going so that Jim can get like real AirPods?
He doesn't
have to have that. Can we get that?
Jim
going,
likes
please?
the old school.
I like
you got to get
like
him the
doctor.
ones with like the little foam, like from the 1980s. That's all he's missing, you know.
Like a Sony Walkman.
Yeah, the Sony Walkman foamers.
Yeah, the old Sony Walkman headphones.
These are old.
These
work. That's the key. They work good. Like you guys are both fuzzy right now, so your equipment is shaky.
I am not fuzzy.
It's my hotel internet. I'm like everywhere in Florida. I feel like I'm encased in concrete. My phone has been just terrible. My internet's been terrible everywhere I've went. So looking forward to getting back to normal Wi-Fi conditions so I can live like a normal human being. Guys, the Phillies won last night, Wednesday night, 7-0. Cristopher Sánchez, 6 scoreless innings, 1 hit, home run from Trea Turner. Johan Rojas with the safety squeeze, an executed safety squeeze.
Love that play. I love that play. My favorite play.
It's a good play.
Why, Jim?
I just love the safety squeeze. It's about bat control. It's about a managerial decision. It's a base running play from third base. It's almost indefensible if executed properly.
It is indefensible. You're absolutely correct. And a nice job by Rojas getting on a tough pitch that kind of bared in on him just to get it down softly somewhere.
You got that first baseman holding that guy on every time, first and third. Boom.
So let me ask you this question then. Why don't we see more of it?
Well, I mean, the situation has to be right.
Yeah, the situation has to be right.
You know, it's not always an optimal situation, but honestly, I didn't even see the play because I was flipping between the Leafs and the Panthers.
You were watching the Celts?
No, I wasn't watching I was watching the Stanley Cup, and I was reading the play-by-play this morning, and I see, first and third, he puts down there's a bunt. I don't know if it's a safety, but I'm reading the play-by-play, and it sounds like a safety to me. And then I asked Todd this morning, because sometimes you'll see that play, and it's actually not a safety. Sometimes you'll see a runner take off from first base, and the batter swing, and it's not a hit and run.
Right?
Correct.
Sometimes you have to clarify that stuff with the old skipper. So it was good to see that. To me, people like the term small ball. I call it right ball. I call it correct ball. I call it the way you're supposed to play the game.
They put together a tremendous, tremendous fourth inning after really bearing down and wearing down Boz. I mean, they did a really nice job in the early part of the game. I talked about it on the broadcast about, those at bats that they had early in the game when they were just wearing them down. They led to to that fourth inning because the guy was starting to get beaten down. He was averaging like 20 to 25 pitches per inning. And then he left some pitches in the middle of the plate, and he just kept banging into the holes opposite way. Base hit, grinded it out. Base hit. They didn't have to hit the home run. I know Turner hit the home run early.
But he attacked that ball. Did he attack that ball or what?
Yeah, I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him do a little bit more of that. But I mean, he's starting to feel confident and good about his swing.
That's it right there. That swing, that's big. Yeah. That swing just oozed confidence.
That was the WBC swing. That was a WBC swing that you saw when he was having. I'm serious. When he was having a lot of success during the WBC at Mark DeRosa. And if you haven't seen that episode, you got to check it out. He talked about that a lot and how he just loved Trea Turner and the way he was swinging and stuff. But hey, man, it was just a beautifully played baseball game. Simple as that.
I have to admit, like Taijuan to the bullpen, I still have some concern and skepticism that the stuff will play. I really do. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, last night, all his stuff was boom. up. Everything played up. That's a great sign. 7 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Think, Tom?
Well, it was funny after the game. We were talking to Ty. I said, "Wow, your splitter was really good during the game." He's like, "Yeah, I didn't think it was that good." It's like, "Oh, you got some swings and misses off it." So I guess it must have been pretty solid. But going back to Trey, guys, you talked about his swing. He said after the game Wednesday night that before the game, he was in the cage really focused on pulling the ball and getting it in the air. And I know when people hear of like getting it in the air, it's like, oh no, pop-ups. But that's not what he was saying. He was saying trying to hit some line drives, trying to hit some doubles, trying to hit for a little bit more power to his pull side because he has not been doing that too much. And, because Rob Thompson before the season basically said, don't worry about home runs, get on base, score runs, steal bases. Don't worry about hitting home runs. And so asked him, so I assume you feel that hitting for power and getting on base aren't two mutually exclusive things for you. He's like, absolutely not. I think I can do both. So, Trea Turner's been on a roll. I think, what is it? His last 16 games, he is hitting 397, 931 OPS, 446 on base percentage. And that on base percentage in his last 16 games is 5th best in baseball during that span. So he's been on a heck of a roll.
Yeah, so, did you see his reaction after he hit you guys see the reaction in the dugout after he hit that ball? He was like, wow. He was like surprised himself. I mean, it's really cool to have a guy go into the cage and work on the stuff and talk about it and then all of a sudden execute it in the game. Dude, that's not easy to do. That's not easy to do. And sure enough, he just smokes this ball. I mean, it was an absolute missile.
The way he unloaded on that pitch, it was almost like he knew it was coming.
Yeah, that's interesting. But
yeah, no,
he was psyched, obviously. And I said afterward, I said, it had been a while, since he had homered. He hadn't homered since April 9th. He says, oh yeah, it felt like it had been a while. So I think he was psyched about that. So guys, we asked for audience questions, viewer questions, listener questions in our Wednesday episode, and we got a ton. But before we do, I do want to talk about Delco because I'm from Delco. And, people say Delco is a lot. They are right. We've got a lot of everything: family fun, festivals, great restaurants and bars, gardens, history, trails and outdoor activities. Take it from me, I am a real life Delco dad, and check it out for yourself this weekend. So this weekend, I want to mention a couple things going on this weekend in Delco. First of all, it's Mother's Day weekend. So you have to do something nice.
Take care of mama.
Take care of mama this weekend for sure. So, and we are actually doing this on Sunday. Treat her to the Mother's Day market at the Vineyard, Penns Woods Vineyard in Chadsford. She can sip, shop, celebrate. Saturday and Sunday opens at noon. We're going to go there on Sunday. We've been there before. It is a great spot. Kids can run around, have a little wine. You can get food. It really is a great spot. And then while mom is off doing her thing, you can take the kids to see Alice in Wonderland Jr. at the Media Theater Fridays through Sundays. That's from May 10th through May 25th. So that's another great weekend opportunity. Yeah, let mom kind of, hang out, get her a little, me time this weekend. Take the kids to see Alice in Wonderland Jr.
Get her one of those wine containers and have her cruise around in it. One of those, Yeti wine containers or whatever those. Let her cruise around and then take the kids off.
Exactly. So find a full list of events at visitdelco.com. They say Delco's a lot, and they're right. So
that Media Theater is a very, very cool venue.
Yeah,
it's a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff in Delco, and I got to spend some more time there. I'm missing out on some things.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. Yeah. I was just on the campus of Widener University in Delco the other day. Beautiful campus.
Oh, you were?
I was.
There you go. I like that. Yeah, Ruben, we'll have you out.
Yeah, why don't you guys, I didn't get no invites, you guys just leave me in the city. That's all right. No big deal.
We'll get you as as our buddy Rob said, get you a SEPTA pass. We'll have you come out and enjoy. Come out and enjoy. But yeah, we're looking forward to going to that winery, the Pennswood Winery on Sunday. That'd be a lot of fun. So,
Very cool.
Guys, we got a ton of questions, and let's start with this. And these three came flooding in last night after the game. Flooding. How many more 3-inning saves this season will Taijuan Walker throw? Wow, that's from Dom S on Instagram. Our buddy Pat Kreitz on Blue Sky says, will closer Taijuan Walker be standing on the bump when the Phillies record that final championship clinching out of the 2025 World Series? And Jammer McD on Blue Sky says, after tonight, could Taijuan be the missing bullpen arm? His stuff over 1 to 2 innings can play. Wonder if that keeps him on the roster. So do you guys have any thoughts on more thoughts?
Yeah, I know. Now I know why you cut me off when I started talking about Taijuan Walker a minute ago.
I didn't want you to go too deep on Ty.
Yeah, no, like I said, I've had concerns whether the stuff would play in the rotation and whether it'll play in the bullpen, and I probably still do. But I'll tell you what, last night he hit 94 plus. And he had 7 strikeouts. He did something right. So you need that multi-inning arm down there. And he did a heck of a job. Who's to say it can't play if he's getting some deception, if he's getting, if he's changing some speeds, if he's got just enough on the fastball to create some separation with the split. Maybe that's why the split was good last night. So I am putting anything past him because he's shown a lot of guts.
A lot of moxie, yeah. I mean, let's think about what's happened to him over the last, 4 or 5 months. It's a guy that basically people wanted to jettison, and for him to do what he did in the offseason and get himself right and to put himself in a position to be ready for this spring, basically pitched well enough to be in the rotation. I know Suarez was down. Had Suarez not been down, man, may not have made the team.
Right.
I mean, he probably would have made the team because of the salary. But he pitches his rear end off as a starter, does really quite well. His stuff is up. And then, he really didn't deserve to go into the pen, but was the only real candidate to go into the pen at this point. And for him to do what he did, go into the pen, not bitch and complain about it. He went, did his job, had a great 3 innings. And for him to perform at that level, I know it's not a great Tampa Bay Rays lineup. It just isn't. But he had lots of swings and misses. The split was pretty good. His sinker had some life to it. Punched out a couple of guys with some action on it. And I got to give this guy a ton of credit, man. He deserves a lot of love. And you never know. I mean, with Kerkering not throwing all that well right now, he may slide into a position where he might be needed in more leveraged situations. Now, it's not necessarily ideal, but hey, sometimes you got to make adjustments on the fly. Who knows? Maybe he's pitching the 7th, 8th, and 9th. I don't know.
Well,
I know they want to keep him stretched out just in case.
Yeah, I was going to say Rob Thompson said after that performance, he goes, he says it kind of gets his mind turning a little bit more of what he could possibly become for them. But he said right now, yeah, Ruben, you're right. He said for the time being, for the short term anyway, they still do want to keep him stretched out because I guess they are still possibly considering a 6-man rotation for a short stretch. So they do want to keep him stretched out for that possibility. But Andrew Painter is making his first start in AAA Lehigh Valley on Thursday night. So he's coming maybe June, July-ish, I should say, as Dave Dombrowski has said. So if Andrew Painter comes up at some point, then maybe that's your 6-man rotation. And now maybe Taijuan becomes a more viable late inning guy. But yeah, that was that was kind of fun to see. I found this. I looked this up last night. You guys might appreciate this. So this was that was his first save of his career, of course, right? In the 224th appearance of his career. And since saves became a stat in 1969, Ty's 224 games are third most into a career of a player's first save while pitching for the Phillies. So Real Cormier actually got his first career save with the Phillies. he was 314 relief appearances into a career. And then actually Jose Ruiz last season was 264 appearances into his career when he got his first save last September. So, but those guys were relieving for a long time or forever, you know? So, but it was Real 314, Jose Cruz 264, and then Taijuan Walker 224. So Ty kept the ball after the game, he said. So,
yeah, he did. Of course he did. It's a big milestone.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. It was cool. So Steve Potter, you guys know Steve Potter. He does all the he is down there embedded in Clearwater, doing all the minor league stuff, sends out great reports on the Phillies minor leaguers all over, up and down the system. And Steve sent us a question, and this is looking ahead. So I thought this could be kind of cool. Was wondering what trade value you fellas thought the following players would bring. Example, are they a package part or a player who could bring back a big league contributor on their own? Here's a few names: Otto Kemp, Justin Crawford, Mick Abel, Johan Rojas. Otto Kemp just been named International League Player of the Week. He was named we talked about him in Wednesday's episode, the co-player of the month, Phillies minor league player of the month, hitter of the month. And we know Crawford and Mick Abel. Mick Abel actually also was minor league pitcher of the month for the organization. So any thoughts on those guys?
Good to see Mick Abel get going, because all of a sudden now build some trade value, but okay, you're going to be good. Maybe you're going to build some Philadelphia value.
Right.
I'd say right now Crawford could bring a good piece, and the other guys are package pieces, but it depends how you perform. If you keep getting better and pitching good, you never know what could happen. How another team views you and what they would be willing to give up for you. So, what is it? Kemp, Abel, Crawford, and
Crawford, and Rojas.
Yeah, I would say like Rojas and Kemp are package pieces. Abel, a package piece trending toward maybe you could get something for him if he continues to pitch well. And Crawford, I think you could get a big league part for. I don't know. Again, it's all in the eye of the beholder, but it's good that they're all performing.
Yeah, I mean, the great options to have and great depth to have of the Phillies. Hopefully, they continue to perform at those levels. Right now, strangely, and I know people might disagree with this, Johan Rojas might be more important to this team than bringing a different piece, unless he becomes a package of something really large, like someone who's going to be closing out games or something like that. You do a Johan Rojas and Mick Abel for a closer or something of that nature, because there's got to be some teams that might view Johan Rojas as a everyday center fielder for them, and Mick Abel is somebody that could slide into their rotation pretty quickly. So when you have that many assets that close to the major leagues, it becomes, for a GM or for another club that's building, that becomes something that you really like to see. And, again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but they got to continue to perform. And, if they bring you a major league piece, that's a great thing. But again, there's time, and you want to continue to build, their value, and hopefully they can.
Yeah, Mick Abel's pitch, his stuff is playing really well right now in AAA. I think his four-seam fastball. Last year he started the season really slowly, and he kind of lost some of his stuff, and there were a lot of concerns about that, like what's going on with Mick Abel. Obviously, he had command issues. He's throwing more strikes this season, and his fastball is playing way up. His stuff is playing way up. So yeah, I wonder, guys, if Mick Abel continues on this trajectory and continues to pitch well in May and into June, could he elevate himself into that maybe headlining piece for a, maybe not an everyday player, but maybe a Ryan Helsley or something like that. Helsley is going to be a free agent after the season. If the Cardinals don't want him, could Mick Abel be a guy where, like, listen, we're giving you a first-round pick, a talented first-round pick, of course, and a starting pitcher that you're going to have under team control for 6 years for a 2.5-month rental in a closer. So I'll be curious to see if he can kind of elevate himself to that point. And then Kemp, man, that guy all he does is hit. But you know how it is, guys. Like, I feel like organizations go, well, can he play defense? Is there a spot for him to play? We've talked about it. And then I feel like in those negotiations, right? If you're the opposing GM, don't you go there? Like, this guy was undrafted. I mean, he's not a true top prospect. Yeah, he's self-made, but come on, guys, where's he going to play? And don't you kind of like talk the guy down, that type of thing. So I think he's got to be part of a package. But man, Otto Kemp has been really, really good this season.
Can I throw out something that I might get laughed off the podcast for, but for the sake of Pat Gillick and the Knights at the Round Table sitting at the executive level of Citizens Bank Park, brainstorming and being creative like you guys used to do, Ruben, right? Let's say Mick Abel continues to trend up. The stuff continues to play. The strike throwing comes around. He is still here at the trade deadline. His value is in Philadelphia. Could you use him in the bullpen August, September? Now, I'm not saying it's a career change. He still can be a starting pitcher down the road, but could you use him in the bullpen to help the 2025 Phillies in the second half and maybe in the postseason if he's still here without closing the door as a starter? Now, people are going to say, well, why wouldn't you do that with Painter? Painter's coming off Tommy John. I'm concerned about that. And I also think he's a little different tier of a prospect. But coming off the injury and the Tommy John concerns me about getting ready to come into a game. So I'm not doing it with him. And Dombrowski's already said they're not doing it with him. But Abel continues to shine, continues to get outs. 2 months from now, does the creativity kick in, and could he be a weapon out there?
I think it's a great call, Jim, but again, it's about the makeup. You just don't know whether this guy's going to be able to take the baseball and throw strikes and go after major league hitters. And that you don't know until he's here. But could it be a possibility? Sure. Why not? If they feel like he has the stuff and the gumption to be able to do that.
There's only one way to find out if he's got the gumption. You got to get out there.
You got to find it. You got to put him in there. I think that they're going to try to continue to have the value be built. And
no question. Keep him in the starting rotation. Keep him there. Right. But I'm saying down the road.
Not a bad call.
It's interesting.
You're thinking like a GM, Jim. You're thinking like a GM, kid. I like your
Ruben. I am a GM. I'm a garden manager.
Oh, we just had some deer destroy some stuff in our garden, Jim. We'll talk about that off air.
You gotta get Ben Davis to come over and shoot him.
Yeah, Ben Davis gotta come over and pick him off for us.
You're right. But Ruben, I want to follow up on that. Like, how crazy are the ideas that you guys throw out there, and did you guys encourage those crazy ideas to be thrown out there? Jim kind of half kiddingly says, "I don't want to be laughed off the podcast," but I imagine are crazy ideas being thrown out there every day?
One of the things that Pat Gillick used to talk about all the time is creativity. I mean, that was the reason why we ended up, getting Brad Lidge. Hey, we need a fifth starter. We need another starter. Let's just put Brett Myers back, even though he pitched well as a closer. Let's just throw him back in there. We got a chance to go get Brad Lidge. Just throw him out there in the back end of the bullpen, and lo and behold, he has 46 out of 46 saves or whatever it was. Sometimes you just have to sort of be creative and think about some things, and I think that's important. You got to keep your mind open, and see what the situation dictates. But sometimes you try to think outside the box, and it can work for you.
I have another crazy idea.
Shoot it.
That will get me laughed off the podcast. But everybody says, "Oh, put Ranger in the bullpen." How about this? How about this? You come around late in the season, August, September, and your rotation's healthy. Wheeler's dealing, Nola's dealing, Ranger's dealing, Luzardo's dealing. I like an explosive arm in the bullpen. You need a stun gun in the bullpen. I know it's going to be unpopular because of the way the guy's pitching in the rotation, but if your rotation is stacking up really good going into, September, October, what about Cristopher Sánchez? out in the bullpen.
Oh, that would be kind
Throwing
As a-
99 miles an hour.
as a stun gun. Tell me that wouldn't demoralize some opponents. Now, it's all incumbent on the rest of your rotation, healthy and dealing. I know that. It's like if you indeed have an embarrassment of riches in the rotation and you're going to shorten it up for the postseason, ooh, baby.
You're right.
Yeah,
because he
I
has
think
two. He's basically has those two pitches that can be dominant pitches. His sinker will probably throw it. If he's coming out of the pen, he's throwing 98 to 100. I mean, the way he's throwing right now, I could probably juice it up, and then that changeup becomes even more effective. It's like throwing a split. It's like one of the best pitches in baseball, swing and miss. So he can go with a 2-pitch mix, mixing the slider every once in a while, but he can be really dominant. I mean, it's a great idea. It's something that you keep in mind, and Ranger Suarez is also an option in that, because he's done he's got the gumption to do it. He doesn't have the same level of stuff overall as far as the velocities, but
not as explosive. He's not as explosive, and this is all the pieces have to come together. Everybody else has to be throwing good and
healthy,
and it's got to be like a perfect storm. But Christopher, go out there and just blow away people in October, and then come to Clearwater as a starter again. So these are just. I was gonna say I lay awake at night thinking about.
I think you get that would be an easy sell for Cristopher Sánchez because he's got the contract already. Yeah, like you said, Jim. You say, listen, this is just for the postseason. We think we can win a World Series with you doing this. Don't worry. On February 12th, when you get to Clearwater, you're going to be right back in that rotation because you're one of the best.
Yeah, because Ranger's going to be gone, and Ranger's going to be off the free agency, and you're going to come back and you're going to pair with. Wheeler and Nola and Luzardo at the top. And I don't know.
It get your juices flowing, Jim. You look like your juices are flowing.
Oh, my juices are firing.
You must have had a lot of coffee this morning because you're like, why you got all these bright ideas churning through your head. I love it.
Apparently I have 5 shots in this one today.
So here's one from Ethan Smith on YouTube, and this is a name that was mentioned a lot last season before the trade deadline. Word is Luis Robert Jr. is checked out on the White Sox. Y'all think a trade deadline deal could happen this year? So I just looked this up. Because I was like, I actually looked him up a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, man, he is not playing well. Luis Robert Jr. is batting 190, 5 home runs, 16 RBIs, 642 OPS. So either he has checked out or he's just really, really playing bad baseball right now. Would you guys be?
And the White Sox still want a lot for him, and it's hard to flip the switch. I'm not feeling it.
Nope, I'm out. I'm out on Robert. He might be able to. He might go to a team and be rejuvenated. Who knows? He can go to another club and be rejuvenated and play his ass off. But I'm out on Robert.
Yeah, me too. I want nothing to do with that. If he's checked out, what does that say about a guy? If that's what he's doing, if he's just like, I'm tired of playing for the White Sox. Okay, well, that says a lot about you. If that's the case, if that's really why he's been struggling, and if that's not why he's been struggling, then I also want out. So I'm gonna pass on both of that. This has been brought up a few times. I thought we'd mention it. Tom G on Blue Sky. Could we see a scenario where they move Turner to center this year and either move Sosa Stott to short or acquire a new shortstop? I don't
not
think
during
so.
the season.
Not during the season.
It's not going to happen during the season. Maybe it's a discussion in the off season. It's not happening during the season. I don't believe.
Agree.
No.
I still think he's going to end up in the outfield during his next, what has he got, 8 more years here, Trea Turner. But you're going to need the off season to put all the pieces in place.
From Bo92 on Instagram, if Justin Crawford continues to produce, do you think either Marsh or Rojas could be traded?
Yeah, possibility.
It's a possibility. Yeah.
It is a possibility, and again, you got to be sure, like, if you're going to move and bring a guy like Crawford to the big leagues, and I would assume if they bring Crawford, it would be Marsh that they might move.
It would almost have to be, right?
It would almost have to be because you want to keep the right-handed bat, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, you'd have to be real. I mean, how well would Justin Crawford have to be playing where you feel comfortable putting him out there, I guess, and playing every day on a team that's trying to win the World Series? I mean, he is playing well. He's batting .323 in Lehigh Valley, .805 OPS, 10 stolen bases, 8 doubles, 2 triples. So he's playing well. There's no doubt about it.
That goes back to the old mantra for me. I mean, you don't necessarily want to move big major league pieces off your team and replace them with minor league pieces, because it doesn't necessarily make your team better. But if they feel comfortable with Rojas playing in case he falters at the major league level, who knows?
Got it. Yeah.
And this is where you really have to lean on because the video and the data and the eyeballs tell you that a kid's a good player and he's playing well, but you really got to lean on your AAA manager, your AAA coaching staff to know about the makeup, and can this kid handle jumping into Philadelphia in a pennant race, because that's a big part of the equation for me. You don't want him to come up here and just like shrink. You want him to continue to play well. So yeah, a lot of stuff go into that determination, but I'll tell you what, neither one of those guys would hold up a trade for me if I thought it was going to make my club better.
Yeah, we got more questions right after these words.
It is complicated enough to figure out what type of car you want, but when it comes to pricing and best time to buy and all of that information that you're looking for, CarGurus is the only destination that you should be thinking about, Kratz. Why?
Because I don't have to question what the price is. It's going to be there. If the price changes and comes down to where I want it to be, bang, I get a notification. CarGurus is giving it to me straight, and this is how I want to purchase a car. Not fast. I just want to know what's going on.
With over 4 million listings, CarGurus has more car listings than any other major online automotive marketplace in the U.S. So you can find the best deal, and it's no wonder SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows CarGurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site. So you can buy or sell your next car today with CarGurus at CarGurus.com. Go to CarGurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's CarGurus.com. CarGurus.com.
All right, we are back. Got a bunch of more questions here. We'll pick a few out. Here's one from one of our most loyal YouTube viewers, Jim. Mustang Red 1967.
Oh, that
on
guy.
YouTube. Todd. Oh, that guy. Mustang Red. He wants to know how come I don't tweet more during games. He says we need to vent.
Because you know why? Because you're busy watching. So you're busy watching the game. So you can actually tell people what's going on.
I tell you what, during the game, that this is so true. That it is very true. I've backed off on tweeting during games. It just becomes too much. And honestly, I see the comments and I'm just like, I can't. Sometimes I just can't deal with it. Mustang Red, though, believe me, we see your comments on YouTube. We know you're venting, so you have plenty of places to vent.
Yes. Internet tough guy.
Oh my gosh. So
did I mute him? I probably muted him.
No,
or her or whoever.
Oh my gosh. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, this is more of a comment than a question. This is from Renslave on YouTube. The Fightins needed they need a Western Hemisphere volcano to go off in order to win it all, as they did in 1980 and 2008. 1980, Mount St. Helens exploded. In 2008, there was a volcano in Chile exploded. First one for that in 7,000 years. So I guess we're rooting for a natural disaster somewhere. Hopefully that's not. Hopefully the one that's not in an area that's not populated. So I thought that was an interesting little comment.
Yeah, at least our viewers are not superstitious.
Exactly. Like Jesus Luzardo, who's starting on Thursday night. Favorite minor league. This is from Life is Dope 95 on YouTube. Favorite minor league park. What do we got?
Minor league park.
Well, I mean, Reading's atmosphere is outstanding. Baseball town in Reading, PA, great spot. I played in Buffalo, and at that time, I'm not sure how it is now because it's a long time, but back then it was like as close to the major leagues as any other major league or minor league stadium. But the one in Lehigh Valley is awesome too, man. There's a lot of really good ones out there. There's some really good ones. And you know what? The one in Trenton is awesome.
Yeah,
And
it's
they
nice.
don't even have a team. The one in Trenton is awesome, and it's in great
Yeah.
location. And they don't even have a team. I think they're working on it. They're putting like $25 million into it. I saw some of the plans. It's going to be a beautiful place, and a team should jump on it because great support there as well.
You should buy
So
a team.
I'm staying in the area, man.
You should
Oh
buy
yeah,
a
because
team.
I have the money to do that. Me and my private plane too.
My
just on my
favorite.
private
So I
plane to do that.
love the ballpark in Clearwater. That's technically a minor league park. I love that. And my favorite was McCoy Stadium in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, where I started my career. I played there in high school, and I think it has met the wrecking ball now, but it was a great old yard.
Great old
It
yard.
was,
All right.
and it was the only place I think I hit a grand slam in my career.
Really, I might have
Is
covered
that
that
right?
game.
I think it's the only. I think I hit a grand slam, and I'm not sure, but I think it was against Paul Quantrill, Cal's dad.
Yeah, I probably did cover that game because
I'm not
covered him.
sure if it. I'm not sure if it was, but I think I did. Not sure.
I
How about
actually
that?
remember you with Scranton in that ballpark. You and Manto,
Yep.
and I'm not sure who the skipper was. It was either George Culver or Lee
It's
Elia,
Culver.
who both was Culver.
It was
Okay.
cold. The 1 year in Elia, I had Elia in '92, and he was awesome.
Yeah,
It's the best.
great memories.
Culver.
I remember the
Steven-
big. You guys didn't. Scranton and Pawtucket didn't like each other because they had a big fight the year before.
Yeah,
in
that
Reading when they were
Alcantara. Alcantara.
No, it was way before that. Way before
Oh.
that. They had a big fight when they're from their two AA teams, and then they moved up. And there was a big Grotewall was involved. I think you were hovering
Grody.
away.
Yeah, that's right.
You were hovering away in the back, Ruben.
I was not on that team, pal. I was in Edmonton, pal, hitting 390.
You remember the fight though?
Otherwise, he would have been right in there.
I heard about it, obviously, in the coming years.
Yeah, they knocked out one of the teeth of one of I guess it was New Britain. Pitcher got sucker punched. It was ugly.
Stephen Burl on Blue Sky. Do you think Max Kepler is the most handsome man to ever wear a Phillies uniform? Got to be at least top 3. So, you guys have any thoughts on Max Kepler? I know he's.
There's
I know
a
he's
lot of
hitting well
attractive
right
guys on the team. I mean, people talk about Castellanos and Kepler and other JT. Get some pretty good looking fellas.
Yes, they
The
did.
ladies like the boys.
It's a fine looking squad. Come on.
It is a fine looking squad.
Don't want to sell anybody short. Who is your favorite Phillies manager to cover or talk to? That's from Sean Schwartz on X. Favorite Phillies manager to cover or talk to?
I've enjoyed every manager I've covered, and I've been challenged by them. I've banged heads with them. I've respect them and as people and baseball guys, and I've honestly enjoyed every manager I've ever covered here.
What do you got, Todd?
Yeah, I feel the same. Yeah, no, I kind of feel the same way. I think, just in terms of like conversation, you can't beat Charlie, but Rob Thompson as well, just two really, just down to earth, good people. But yeah, you're right, Jim. Like I enjoyed covering Larry Boa, although I wish I had more. I just started out covering in 2003. I wish I had more experience. I think I could have enjoyed it more because Larry was tough. But Pete McCannon, Gabe Kapler, people always ask me about covering game. I'm like, I tell you what, Gabe was fun to cover because he always had something interesting to say. Whatever you think about him as a manager, he always had something interesting to say. So same thing, Joe Girardi was not real chatty, but he was just a great baseball person and he was fun. And Pete McCannon had dry sense of humor. Ryan Sandberg is a Hall of Famer. So all sorts of those guys. I mean,
a lot of different personalities.
Every manager is different, but yeah.
Totally
sure.
different.
I really wish
personalities.
Yeah, I mean, I really wish I could go back in time and like cover me right now. Go back in time and cover Larry in 2003 and 2004. I think I would have gotten a lot more out of it.
They were all fun. Larry was a trip. Francona was a trip. Fregosi, Charlie was always a trip. Kapler was interesting copy. I mean, he had great biceps. His biceps were unbelievable, and you
They're
never
big
knew what
as
you're
your
going to get out of
biceps?
Cap. Yeah, you never knew you were going to get out of Kapler. Todd, do you remember the day he started talking about how much he loved cream spinach?
Yes. Yeah.
We were in spring training, and I think it was his first year, and they were having a like a welcome back party for the team, and they were having some steaks, and you had to have cream spinach with the steak. And I kind of agree with him. Nothing like a steakhouse steak and that steakhouse cream spinach, but Gabe just made it sound so mouthwatering.
He did. He really got into details. Yeah, we would have some like just random interesting conversations with him. So he was, like I said, yeah, he was always, you didn't know what you were going to get that day, from Gabe. So he was entertaining to cover. He kept you on your toes, no doubt about it. I can't really answer this question. Maybe you guys can, but this marks the 75th anniversary of the Whiz Kids. Any favorite Richie Ashburn stories? That's from Phil's fan DLR on Instagram.
And when you covered him, Jim,
what
did you think?
I didn't cover I covered him as a broadcast. I just, my favorite story would be like a big picture story, what a good guy he was and how kind he was to me. So, I sadly I was there when he passed away, and at the Grand Hyatt in New York City against the Mets. And, I remember visiting with Harry that day, and then that night's game, they win 1-0. Kevin Jordan, I think, got a big hit, and Richie was number one, and boy, just how they left his chair empty. It's just, I remember the sadness of that night, and just an honor to know him. I always remember he wore a very stylish Ralph Lauren baseball cap. Remember, Ruben?
Jeff hats too. He had a couple of different types of hats, but he always had those really cool hats. But yeah, Richie Ashburn, obviously Ashburn Callis Foundation is he was the namesake of that. It was originally the Richie Ashburn Foundation, and we have our big golf outing coming up on June 12th. Give it a quick plug. But I will say that just a great guy to be around, fun to be around. I was honored to be able to be on the plane with him, with he and Harry, to be able to fly on the plane with those two guys and to be on the team. And yes, I was in the hotel, got a phone call from John Vukovic and was told that something had happened, and he called me immediately. And I don't know, man, it just it crushed me. Just because of what he meant to the city, what he meant to me personally, what he meant to the people of Philadelphia and the organization. So tough memories about that, but also love the fact that the man, he was an athlete, great tennis player, loved playing golf, competitive as hell.
Yeah.
Very, very confident in his abilities to play all those sports. But great guy to be around. Super human being, and got terribly missed.
Yeah.
Never got to see him play. And I don't think my dad played with him either. I don't believe. I'm not sure. But great man. Great man.
Two more here. And this one is from Bryce Harper Muse on Instagram. He says, "When can Ruben and I get a selfie together?" So I don't know. I don't know if this guy reaches out to you, Ruben, or what. That's the thing. I put this question.
Who was that? What was the name?
The handle is Bryce Harper Muse on Instagram. I can never tell if it's one of the guys that just kills us all the time on social media,
or he's probably one of the guys that kills me all the time.
Or is he a legit fan?
I probably muted him if he kills me, because I mute those guys out. I don't even hear them. So just so you know, you guys can spout, tell me how terrible I am on the air and all that stuff. I don't give a crap. I just mute you.
Muting is a wonderful thing, but maybe this guy is legit. He does want to get a selfie with you. So I'm sure if he's sincere, you will.
He shouldn't have any trouble. Ruben's at the ballpark all the time. He's
all the time. I'm walking around the ballpark all the time. I take pictures of folks, and they ask, and I'm happy to do it. It's my dad taught me something about the game of baseball. That's always about the fans, and would not exist without the fans. And obviously the Philly fans are as passionate as anybody. So,
and Ruben was
always,
the game's
always
most
available.
Ruben was the game's most accessible and thick-skinned GM. Took a lot of crap,
Totally.
and he never buried his head in the stand. In the sand. It's not easy to. It's not hard to find him.
No,
I'm around.
Then very true, very true. You have to have thick biz, and Ruben, your skin is very, very thick, and you're very, very approachable, and So I've seen you take tons of photos with fans and sign autographs and do all that stuff. And then the last question is from Matt Piersick on Instagram. What's Jim firing up on the grill this weekend? Jim, it's Mother's Day. You better be doing some cooking on Sunday.
What's Ann going to get? What are you going to fire up for Ann?
I don't know.
You better fire something up because she deserves it.
I don't know.
He's a saint.
Have you not thought
He's a
about
saint
it?
dealing with you.
You know what? I might just fire up the bod.
The what?
That's not giving her any joy.
my Planet Fitness honed bod.
Oh my Lord!
I don't know. Maybe like
is that a present? I'm not sure if that's a present.
I might have to fire up something because she's driving me crazy with the she cooks a lot of ground turkey. I'm getting tired of it. Don't tell her I
get
said
some
that.
beef in there. Beef.
She's trying to keep you healthy. She's trying to keep you.
You got to get
healthy,
yourself
Jim.
some beef, Jim.
Yeah,
That's right.
We eat.
steak.
She's very healthy. Like a lot of veggies, a lot of protein. But I don't know what I'm going to fire up yet. I gotta think of how about some tri-tip or something like that, something different.
Oh, that'd be
Nicely
good.
marinated, cut it against the grain thin, layer it in a nice sandwich with some, accoutrement.
Accoutrement. That's very good.
Make it happen,
it's good.
James.
You have-
You're making me my mouth water.
Yeah.
Tell you what, we're gonna be back next week. Next week, following this Thursday night series finale in Tampa, this weekend series in Cleveland. And Jim, we're gonna follow up with you.
What?
And see what you did on
What kind of
Monday.
tips you got?
Yeah, exactly.
And what kind of beef you fired up? What kind of beef you got?
Yeah, if we find out you shirked your duties,
I could also do a little red snapper, which is very tasty on the grill.
that'd be good.
Nothing like a nice
That'd be
red
good,
snapper.
yeah. Little seafood action. I can see you doing
Great
some
call.
of that. Very good. Jim is a maestro on the grill, right?
It's my
He is a
thing.
maestro.
I got a smoker too, but I haven't. It's a long process. So
It
I only
is
do
a long
that
process.
once a year, maybe.
Yeah.
What are we talking
So, guys, that
about
was.
here? Could we edit some of
We're
this
talking
out?
about- We're talking about you grilling, man. We're talking about you grilling. No, we are wrapping this up. That was fun. Thanks to everybody that submitted questions on all of our different social media platforms. And if you like the Philly Show, you can get a Philly Show t-shirt at thephillyshow.com. If you haven't already, please subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Give us a nice little review if you enjoy our show. If you don't enjoy our show, just tell us in the comments section. Shoot me an email. Shoot me an email. I'm around. I won't say it on air because it was so revolting, but I did save the worst tweet I ever got about me personally. It was so over the line. I actually screen grabbed it. I said, wow, this person really does not like me.
Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that
That's
person.
hard.
Didn't.
It's hard not to like Todd Zalecki. Like, what has Todd ever done to anyone?
I don't know, but I'll tell you guys off the air. I'll tell you guys off the air what it said. It was so
Jesus.
off the charts weird. I was like, oh,
But
man.
I'm willing to bet that person didn't sign their name.
No, it was not. They did not sign their name.
Anonymino.
So,
Anonymous, Ruben.
Exactly right. So, guys, we'll be back next week.
All right. Smell you later.
Smell you, Jim.
The Philly Show is brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. Subscribe to The Philly Show on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. If you like us, give us a review. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, and Threads. Find Ruben's analysis before, during, and after Phillies games on NBC Sports Philadelphia, on the Sports Radio 94 WIP Morning Show, and MLB Network. Find Jim at allphly.com. Find me at MLB.com, the Phillies Beat newsletter, and MLB Network.